Hi guys, I'm going to show you how to animate and create a custom double helix or DNA loader in After Effects, and I only used pretty much a position and scale animation because I'm going to provide a link for a very cool After Effects script which is called Bodymovin, and if you use this method you can export a special file format to use your website, so you can create your custom loader for your website. And also I did a different type of loading animation, and if you guys interested in, I can do a tutorial about that as well. So let's jump into it. Open up After Effects and we're going to create a new composition. I use 1080p 25 frames per second, but feel free to use your own composition settings. And we're going to create a new background. I picked a very light gray and rename the layer to background and lock the layer. And we're going to create the first dot for the DNA, which is a shape layer, and we're going to use the ellipse tool for this one. So we're going to draw a circle and hold shift when you draw it, and it's going to be a normal circle, and we're going to reposition for the anchor point for this one. So grab the anchor point and hold shift, and it's going to snap into the middle. And for the tool I use this anchor point tool, or you can hit Y and select the anchor point tool. For the next step I'm going to set up I'm going to use the title save, which is a good guide to show us where is the middle, where is the center of the screen. And with Command R and I'm bringing the rulers, and I'm going to mark in the middle, and I'm going to snap the circle onto the ruler. Rename the dot to 01. The next step is select your dot layer, and we're going to go into the drop down menu into ellipses and go into fill, and we're going to animate the color for this one, so hit the stopwatch for that. And I'm going to hit P, which is a position, hit the stopwatch for that as well, and go to S, which is a scale, hit the stopwatch for that, and hit U, and you can see there are 3 keyframes already, and we're going to start with the position. So we go to the starting position around there and go 1 second in time, and we're going to push the dot onto the button and mark the position, first position as well with the ruler. And I'm going to change the first position for our DNA particle. So I changed the position for the first one. So I just roughly using my eyes it should be the same distance from the middle. And after that, copy the first keyframe to the 2 seconds. And the animation should look like this now. The next step is to animate the scale now, which is the first one should be 80. And around 12 frames it should be 100. We're not going to do anything in the middle, so the last one should be 80 as well, 80%, and around 1sec13 should be 60. The reason for that, we're going to use the scale, like represent the 3D movement for the particle. So if the particle is closer, it's bigger. If it's further, it's going to be smaller. So that's the reason for this. The next step is I'm going to select all of the keyframes and hit F9 which is easy ease the keyframes. If you use Mac and it doesn't work for you, go to System Preferences and make sure that box is checked. Okay, so I'm just making a run preview. As you can see, it looks like now it's going around in 3D. The next step is I'm going to animate the color for the particle. I try to use like something yellowish color. And we're going to go to the secondum, and we're going to copy the first keyframe and paste it there. Select all of the keyframes and hit F9, which easy ease all of the keyframes. And just recolor the layer to orange for myself and duplicate the layer, and I'm going to recolor it to purple, the second layer. So the next step is for the second layer, we're going to hit U, which is expose all of the keyframes inside. So for the second particle, we're going to swap the scale keyframes. And I'm going to switch the position animation, because it's going to be the opposite, so that this particle is going to move in an opposite direction. So, and after that, copy the first keyframe, and I'm going to paste it to the last keyframe, so because it's going to be a loop animation. So as you can see, they are moving in a mirrored animation, so it now should look like this. And I'm going to animate the color. So for the second particle, I try to use something bluish color. So start with the light blue, and it's going to be a bit stronger blue. So just copy this blue to, and I can change from this blue to a bit darker. And I'm going to copy the first light blue to the last one, because it's going to be a looping animation. The problem is, as you can see, the orange at the beginning, the orange goes over the blue, which is good, but after that the orange goes over the blue again, but it shouldn't be. The solution is just cut with the Command Shift D, and we're going to push it under the blue one mid halfway. So as you can see, it's go under the blue now. And if I run preview it, as you can see, it's moving. A smooth animation, so it's looking good now. The next step is to select all of the layers, and I'm going to precomp all of them and rename it to DNA. And I go inside and I'm going to change the size of the precomp to match close to the animation. You don't need to do it very close, just roughly. It looks okay. As I make sure I'm going to use easy ease, I just select all of the keyframes, I hit F9 for them. And I go to our main comp and copy your DNA animation 10 or 12 times. I use 12 because I think it looks good. And I'm going to select the first animation and shift it to the left side. As you can see, I used the title save like a guide. And for the last animation to the right side, and make sure your align panel is checked. Select all of your precomps, and I'm going to find align and hit that icon there, which is going to paste them in an equal distance from each other. So the animation should look like this now. And I'm going to paste them or shift them in time in 4 frames. So the first animation should start first, and I'm going to delay them 4 frames. I think it's looking good in animation. I tried with 3, but I think 4 is the right one. And the animation should look like now this. Okay, so now we should just loop our animation. So the solution for that I'm going to go inside my precomp, and as you can see my comp is too long, and I'm going to trim my precomp to 2 seconds. Right click into the work area and trim the comp, and I go back to our main comp and select all of your precomps and Command Shift D, which is cut them, and bring the selected one to the top, which is pretty important, and shift all of the precomps like that. Now the animation loops, and a reason for that, because you can use this Bodymovin script or plugin to export it to your website. So this plugin can't use any special effects or any 3D layers, so it can use only simple animations, but this way you can export it with Bodymovin, which is a free plugin. I'm also going to create a new text, type it loading, and recolor it to black. And I'm going to create a null object to make our whole animation a bit smaller. Parent it to the null object and shrink it down. And I unselect the title save, just remove the rulers, we don't need them anymore. Let's check the animation, it's looking pretty good, smooth. And then I'm going to animate the 3 dots like in old-fashioned loading games. So I create the 3 dots separately. So I use another type layer and create 1 dot. And go closer, and I shift it next to the loading text. And duplicate that dot 2 times. And shift them a little bit right. And I'm going to shift it in time in the middle, and I'm going to delay them as well, which is going to create an animation with the dots, and I'm going to cut them and delete the rest. And I just recolor the layers to make it more clear. And if I hit run preview, it should animate. It's a very simple animation, but it works. So that's it, guys. If you use Bodymovin plugin, you can export a special files. There are very nice and clear tutorials about that. So if you want to create your own website, this is a very cool way to customize it. I hope you find this useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Until then, see you guys in the next one.